Today I'm going to show you how to change spark plugs on the 2013 Ford Explorer XLT with a 3.5. So let's get to work. So first thing, engine cover comes off. We're going to loosen this little screw here so that we can remove it off the throttle body. We got one tab there to pull up, and you may or may not have to remove the oil cap. This one's a little torn up around it, so it will slide up over and around it. Now with the cover off, you can see the front three are easy to get to. The back three, well, we'll have to pull the intake. That's why you gotta change your intake gaskets. So, to begin, we need to take the air intake tube off. As you can see here, there's a problem. This is broke. You usually would take this, pull this back, and release that off the air intake tube, but it's not attached. I'll go ahead and pull that hose off the back side of the air box right here. Should be able to just give it a little twist and pull this piece off so I can repair it. Now, because the intake has to come off, and while we're already here, go ahead and pull this clamp. Go. Disconnect the sensor, pull the safety lock on the side of the throttle position sensor. It'll actually probably be easier to remove this. It's out of the way. Push it in, pull the green clip back, it unlocks that. And we'll take it out of these little clips here to kind of clear up a little room. Pull the safety pin back on that and remove the throttle position sensor. Alright, so I'm going to start here on the front with these three, easy to get to. I'm going to start by popping these red locking tabs so I can unplug the coils. There we go. Go. Once you push down that button, that may be a little seized up. I'm going to take an 8mm, loosen the coil bolts, there we go. That one's stuck. Now take spark plug socket. And just simply remove the spark plugs. This is probably the one that was giving me issues. Alright, now we'll just simply put them in the spark plug socket, carefully lower it on down. Snug it down and give it just about 1/8 of a turn. Now, we'll just drop the cold packs right back down where they were. And then just snug these bolts back down. I'll go ahead and plug that one in, lock it back, and go to the next two. Now the fun part, removing the intake. Alright, now it's time to remove the intake. So right here, this wiring harness, I went ahead and just snipped the zip tie holder because it's just going to be able to move a little bit in order to get the intake up. I'm just going to pull the hose out of here. Give me a little more room. If need be, I can unclamp it from the overflow tank and get a little bit more room if I need to. But I'll worry about that later. Now there's a hose back here to unclamp and move. There we go. And with our 8mm, we'll go ahead and loosen off the intake. So now there's one more right there if the camera will focus. Now, as you can see, use some tape to cover up the holes for the intake so nothing gets in there. And the back side's pretty much the same as the front now. So all we gotta do is pop the locks. There's these 8mm and change the plugs. Back to the 8mm. We're just going to pull the spark plugs out and replace them. Just have to reach over and get them. Now we'll just go back to the 8mm and reinstall the coils. And just remember to snug these down. Plug these back in. Then all we got to do is put the intake manifold back on with the new gasket. Alright, now the intake's going back on. Now it does have some dowel pins, so it should line up on its own. Now let's make sure by dropping this one first. I'm just going to kind of get them close to snug, just to make sure that they are indeed lined up. It should be, but I'm not going to fully trust it yet until I got at least most of them snug down. Now that they're all snug down, I'm going to start with this one. Get it down. Just don't over tighten them. We are working with plastic. It does have some metal fittings, but remember, it is plastic. It's technically an O-ring gasket, so snugging it down, just maybe an eighth to a quarter of a turn is about all you'll need. And I work from center to out. And I'll just double check them. now the last one that was under and behind the throttle body there. Now you could probably use some tape to hold this in place to help you, but just going to slide it up in here. And same thing on this one, you don't have to torque it down really tight or nothing, it just needs to be snugged because this is just a brace. Now we can reattach all the hoses. Alright, now I'll start back here and slide this hose back on. Get the clamp back on. I'll go ahead and reconnect this one right here. I'll push this overflow line back in place. Reconnect this one. Push the latch back over. Pop it down back in the holders. Plug that back in. Plug this one back in. Pop the lock on it. Alright, now slide the air intake tube back on. Get it all back in place. Line everything up. Make sure it's all the way on the throttle body and on the air box. Reconnect that tube. Then I will tighten down clamps. Now you reconnect this line right here for the PC valve or the PCV system. This one has been repaired now, and I just hope it stays together. Now I can put the engine cover back on. Screw this one all the way down, and once you get the hole lined up on that one, you can just push that one straight down. And that's it. There it is. Spark plugs are changed. Pretty easy to do. It's going to be a little time consuming removing the intake, but you can do it in your driveway at home. Save yourself a lot of money. All you need, a few tools, spark plugs, and unfortunately intake gasket, because that's part of the procedure. Now I hope this information proved helpful to you. As always, thanks for watching.